Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Clifton Johnston. I'm the founder and the executive director of the Empower series, and I'm here again with our YouTube Live interview. I am excited about our guest, and in a minute I'll introduce her to you, but I just want to thank our sponsors first. Our sponsor of Comerica Bank, I want to thank them for their long-term support and financial contributions, as well as AE Media Group and your generous donations that you give to us online on www.empowerseries.com. You click the left button that says donate. We greatly appreciate that. If you want to text to give, you text give or donate to 214-225-6337. And you'll get a link, a secure link where you can make a donation. So thank you. If it wasn't for your contributions, we wouldn't be able to do the things that we do. We provide free workshops and lunch and learns. We did a lunch and learn today at the Network Bar with Wendy Ida, a great speaker. She motivated us all to really do a better job in being healthy and really stepping into our calling of being healthy and impacting the world and influencing the world. She's going to be at the Highland Hills Library tomorrow at 10:30. So if you don't have anything to do, or even if you got something to do, rearrange it. Be there at 10:30, Highland Hills Library. We're there on the third Saturday of every month. And next month, we're going to talk about life insurance. But I want to fast forward and get to our speaker right now, because we're on the topic of really living the best version of ourselves and being healthy. What we see a lot of times is a physical manifestation of what's inside of us. So let's not get too caught up on how we look outside. Let's start with the inside work. So our guest today is going to be Leiann Davis. Leiann Davis is, you can just call her the fit icon. She's had over 25 years of experience in health and wellness. She is, you know what, I'm going to let her give her bio, because I might just give a little bit too much. I'm going to have her back because she's doing so much, y'all. We gotta segment this out. So I want to introduce you to Miss Leiann Davis. And Leiann, I want to thank you so much for coming to our podcast and our interview today. I know that we just met each other recently. I was on LinkedIn, kind of expanding my network, and I'm so glad that we connected. And this is a result of just using LinkedIn, right?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for choosing me. I'm really happy to be here.
Well, it was an easy choice. When I looked around, I told you this month, actually, our focus was on growth mindset and success habits. And what we find is that when you look at somebody, whether they're fit or whether they're living the best version of themselves, you can kind of see that where they are is a result of their rituals. And so in looking at your website, I saw that you had a studio. You might still have the studio. I'm not quite sure. I know that you're going through some transitions, but I know that you're all about fitness and health. Mm-hmm. So tell us, what are you doing right now that is your calling about fitness and health?
Well, it's interesting. I like to use the butterfly metaphor. I'll use the butterfly emoji next to all my Instagram pages, because I believe that it represents transition. Mm-hmm. And last year was a huge year of transition. I took some time for myself, kind of took a step back from doing a lot of social things, and really refocused on what was going to make me happy in the next chapter. And for me, that meant that after having a storefront for 16 years, that I chose to close it down.
Okay. And
felt like, that I had helped so many people in that capacity and in that area, that it was time for me to kind of grow and do what I love, which is fitness, helping people reach their goals on a bigger scale. Mm-hmm. So that's where I am right now. I am looking for all kinds of opportunities to help bigger groups, maybe some speaking engagements, but I still want to remain focused on health and fitness.
Okay.
So transition, and I believe that for me, it's just making choices and decisions to do, at the end of the day, what makes me really happy. Mm-hmm. So that's how I decide whether something that there's an opportunity, if that's what I'm going to step into or not. It's based on happiness.
Well, I know that one of the things that, do you know that you have an influence on people?
Well, I do know that.
So I'm going to tell you the influence you have on me, but before I do that, what if people told you as to your influence on them in their life?
What have they told me? Well, I'll speak for my clients because I know them so well. Mm-hmm. I've had so many of them for so many years, but I think I provide an atmosphere that is positive, number one. I can be tough, but it's tough love. And they say, you're so mean, but you're so nice about it. So I think people receive that well. I mean, I think it's just a little bit of tough love, spoken the right way.
Like, and they pay you for that, right?
Well, they say that all the time. They're like, man, I pay you for this?
Right,
I go,
right.
yeah, but yeah, look at what you look like. Look how you feel.
Yeah.
Look what you couldn't do 3 months ago that you can do now.
Mm-hmm. Well, when I see people who are really fit, I used to play football, and I was working out all the time, and I was, I actually got a scholarship to go to college, and I felt after I stopped playing, you have muscle memory. You don't lose it. You figure you don't have to work out as hard, and you're not really losing it as much. But for some reason, I have so much drifted, and I've gotten into this mindset sometimes where I'm not watching what I eat, and I looked at the scale and I was 20 pounds heavier. I still am, right? But when I see people
That's part two.
I know. But when I see people who are fit, it's like, man, I want to get back to that. But it's truly a mindset. So you have clients where they've made the decision to invest some money to get your coaching to get into shape. And you still want to be in the space of influencing people to be healthy, make healthy choices. And it's more than just the physical appearance of health, right? So tell me more about what you found is the thing that people need to shift in their mindset to start treating themselves with a little bit more love.
Wow. I think depending on where you're at in your journey, sometimes it takes, like I spoke about with myself last year, sometimes it takes some time to step away from what you have going on to make sure you're clear in your thoughts. And you are assessing all of your opportunities and figuring out what, excuse me, is going to make you happy. You really, when it comes to working out, you have to have your mind made up. That's probably the biggest step. You have to say, you have to have your mind made up that you're going to go out of your way to go to the grocery store when you don't feel like it, that you are going to put this on your schedule and get up extra early in the morning and get it done because you can't get it done after work. So a lot of coming into a fitness goal is just the mindset. I mean, I would actually even say that's to any goal, but especially with fitness, you have to make your mind up. If it's a situation where you are clueless, there's some people who know a lot about fitness. They may not know everything, and so they will begin on their own. But if you don't have any idea, or you're afraid, you don't want to go to a big studio, I would do the research, get referral, and find someone that you trust to help you. You should interview your trainers as well, spend some time on the phone, schedule a consultation. You take those steps to make sure that you are being led from a person who knows what they're talking about, is going to really focus on your specific goals. Not everybody's goal is the same. Not every routine that works for this person is going to work for the next person, or might work for you. So find someone that is going to take the time to learn who you are, understand where you're at, make a plan that's based on your needs, and then progress forward. You know that this person is going to be available to you and be supportive. And I would even say that in most situations, doing the research, finding someone, a mentor maybe, a friend, someone in business that you admire or you see them growing or changing, even with social media. I feel like sometimes reaching out to someone that you admire, where they're going, what they're doing, might be open to help you out a lot in taking steps to move forward.
Okay, well, we're going to talk some more about what are the keys to transforming our mind so that we can start living a better version of ourselves. But before we do that, tell me more about your story. Have you always looked this fit? Or do you have a journey or a story that can resonate with people?
Well, I would say my story, excuse me, I keep clearing my throat, is one of not by choice. Ended up getting into fitness kind of by accident, but it really is still my calling. I am a young single mother, so I had a daughter at 18 years old. And after I had her, I had to find a job. I actually, at that time, before I got pregnant, I had got accepted into UT Arlington and had been enrolled in the business plan, had received some financial aid. So I thought that's where I was going before I got pregnant.
You were blessed with a child.
Yes, yeah. And you know what? She is a blessing. It definitely was harder, but she's my best friend. Yeah. And we really have done life together.
That is so cool.
Like I said, it's harder, but it's I've had my best friend with me through school and starting businesses and her college and so on and so forth. So we know each other like no other.
You're a good role model and example, right?
She's my twin. She's really kind of my twin.
She can see what's possible.
I always say she's bossier than me, though.
Let's say, like, who came first, right?
Oh, wow.
The student has exceeded the teacher.
She definitely mothers me now that she's older. She definitely mothers me. I have to say, okay, wait a minute, I think I'm the mom. So, yeah. But anyway, I had my daughter and needed to get a job, and I kind of just was going up and down this strip center, filling out application. Well, that's back when you actually filled out a paper.
And your application, right?
And so I was just kind of going in and out of every storefront, and I wandered into a fitness place called Cosmopolitan Lady in Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay,
and,
I've heard of that.
Yeah, they don't exist anymore, but it was all ladies fitness facility, and I ended up speaking to the lady who helped out with all the training, and she said to me, "Man, look at your arms. I'm going to get you a job."
So you had some natural arms? Is that it?
Well, no, I was not an athlete. A lot of
Okay.
people think I either ran track or played baseball. Played basketball. I didn't either. I was on drill team. And but you're lifting and moving a lot more like aerobics is what we did in drill team. But anyway, so definitely was very much in shape, stayed in shape, still worked out when I was pregnant. And I got a job there and learned to teach aerobics and learned about the beginning parts of how to take on a trainer. So as I'm 19 years old and I'm learning these things, and my love for it just grew. And then I learned how to teach step, and then I was being requested by a lot of clients, for training, and then moved on to Harris Fitness Center. And what was so nice about that is I was able to continue doing the training, but I also learned a lot more of the medical side of what it takes to be healthy, what's safe, what's not safe, contraindications, things that you should not do for certain populations of people, considering their physical state, what disease, their age, injuries.
Okay.
And so that kind of really led me into going back to school for it. So I didn't go to college right out of high school. I went, so probably 7 or 8 years out of high school, I ended up going to TCU and majoring in exercise.
Cool.
So, yeah.
And then you also received a certification from the Cooper's Clinic too, right?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now you've kind of, there are no accidental steps.
Not at all.
So there's a purpose for all of this. And after 25 years or so in this industry, you're now looking at how can you do something on a much larger scale. So let's talk before you close down your shop. How long did you have your studio?
Wow.
Or your
16 years. I had, my first location was about 1,000 square feet, and I was there about 6 years, and then I moved into about 3,400 square feet, remodeled, new equipment. And then 5-6 years later, I expanded it and remodeled that same space, new equipment. And so the grand opening, that was a couple of years ago. And I just decided, it's time to do things on a bigger scale.
So let's talk about your step into that, because prior to you opening up your gym, would you say that you were an entrepreneur, or did you always work as a trainer for a club?
I've always worked for myself.
Okay.
I did it for Harris Fitness Center for a while, and then I managed a smaller location, Harris, which is in conjunction with Harris Hospital.
Okay.
So I worked with cardiac rehab patients and well patients as well, and they had a smaller gym that I managed for probably about 2 years, and then I had a friend of mine that owned his own studio, and he kept pushing me to come. He said, you need to do this for yourself.
Right,
and so I thank him for that. But because it did encourage me to step out on my own, and that's scary. You got to be responsible for finding your own clients. And but I did it. No accidental steps, you're right.
Yeah. So one of the things we talk about at the Empower series is really taking your ideas and acting on them. And a lot of us have these ideas, like Dennis Kimbrough would say that as individuals, we have around 3 or 4 ideas a year that if we were bold or daring enough to take action on them, could really set us up financially and really bless other people. So you did that as an entrepreneur, as a woman entrepreneur. Did you tell us about that journey. Was it difficult for you or hard, or what kind of advice would you give some other woman or anybody who's looking at taking that step that you had to take to go out there and run your own business?
Well, after you've really considered what the negatives and the positives might be, and you've done your research, I say be fearless. I mean, I think that's,
Be fearless. I love that.
yeah. And fortunately, you know, my daughter and I have had opportunities to be interviewed together. You know, I've had my own radio show in the past, and that's what she said about me, that what she appreciated the most, that she thought I was really brave. And, you know, for me, it's always been my daughter had to be taken care of, and I had to make sure take those steps to make sure that she was taken care of. And so that meant better jobs, better opportunities, growing myself. And so I'm kind of, I wouldn't say maybe stubborn sometimes,
Maybe.
but when I put my mind to something, I get it done.
Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe you use a different adjective, right? I'm focused.
I've heard fiery.
So did you get resources when you were stepping out on your own? What kind of resources were available to you? And the reason I'm asking that is I was recently talking to someone who works for the city of Dallas, and he was saying that there's all these resources that will help entrepreneurs, and specifically women entrepreneurs, but people don't know about them. And so when you were starting your business, did you feel like resources were available that assisted you, or tell me about that experience?
When I opened my original location, no, I had not sought out those options. I felt like I had no option but to do training for myself, because I had come out of several situations where it was very negative. Sexual harassment. I would even, some of it was, let's take care of the men in the situation, and women can figure it out. So out of those, being frustrated coming out of those situations, Miss Determined over here just did it. I had a few clients that I'd had for years, and I said, hey, can you pay me 3 or 4 months in advance so I can open this place? And those 3 or 4 people did it. And by the end, and I did the remodeling on the place myself. I asked a friend of mine, and once that was done, by the end of that 3 or 4 month period, I was making money on my own. Gotcha. But what I have learned, and which I know is a great resource, because my studio has always been in Fort Worth, but Tarrant County, I know that there are a lot of opportunities, and they'll even coach you through how to develop a business plan, how to package, put an investor package together, and help you find people to reach out to find scholarships and grants and money and resources that will help you be able to secure financing and things like that. Yeah.
So I know Tarrant County has some programs. Dallas County has some programs too. You've heard of SCORE? Part of the SBA. Have you heard of Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses? So those are all resources that not everybody knows about, but they're available to assist and help you if you have an idea or a business and you're growing your business. And you took advantage of some of those, but you didn't know them in the very beginning.
Not in the very beginning.
Very beginning, you just had grit, determination.
That's right.
And your business plan was, I will succeed,
That's
right?
On my own, by myself.
Right. Don't need your help. Keep your stuff, right?
There you go.
I got it. And everybody needs that. So you need that no matter what your path is.
Yes.
But you need that determination to just make it work, right?
Yes.
Okay.
When it's your passion, I think you will get it done when you're passionate about it.
I got you. So right now, since you're in this transition, and we have Wendy Ida that's here, she's talking about fitness. And just last month, we had Robert Selders. He has a 3Q Fitness, which is a gym up in Garland. We were talking about how there's a connection between health and wealth, where when you look at the principles to be healthy, being consistent, disciplined, starting early, tracking your process, having a goal, all of that stuff, and monitoring your progress, those principles can be applied in any area of your life to be successful, whether it's your career, your money, your health, your relationships, whatever that is. So what would be some of the advice that you would give somebody who can't come to your gym right now? I take it you still have personal clients.
I do.
You're still doing that. But maybe they are not a personal client of yours. They are on the bubble. They may not have the money to invest in a personal client. What would you say would be a good first step for them on their journey to better health?
Well, if you're comfortable moving into, or at least starting at maybe one of the bigger gyms or studios, I would say get into one you like. I mean, there's so many. And there are so many more, like the young man that you just mentioned. There are so many smaller fitness studios now. I mean, I think fear is the reason why some people choose not to start. And even when I get clients that are referred to me by other people, sometimes they are still really scared to start. But I suggest maybe you get somewhere where you can find a class.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds of places like Orange Theory. So at least you know you're being challenged. You have someone that's watching you. For the most part, your form. It's not as individualized, but you are getting someone that's watching you, watching your heart rate. Change in the exercises. Change is so important when you are working out and training. Read blogs. There's all kinds of blogs. Researching on the internet. There are some series, like Beachbody. I mean, I think some of those outlets are maybe $69 to $99 a month, so a lot less expensive than a personal trainer. And it may not be what you'll need forever, but at least it's a first start. You become more consistent. You start training your heart. You're starting to make some of those changes on your own. And when you're ready, hopefully, you can reach out to someone who can help you continue to progress.
Take it to the next level.
Yeah.
So first, with all the information out there now, you can Google anything. YouTube, there's a lot of resources out there for you to start educating yourself on what you can do to start working out and being healthier. But there's nothing like getting advice. There's nothing like getting a trainer. I will tell you that as a financial advisor, people who work with financial advisors usually have more money saved up than people who don't.
Absolutely.
People who usually work with personal trainers or some kind of team people who are getting advice around their health usually are healthier than people who are not because there's accountability part to it, but then we don't know everything. And to your point, you doing it on your own, you can only go so far. But when you're ready to invest the additional money, if you are serious about achieving your goal and you have the money to invest, giving a personal training, investing in a personal trainer is just the way to go.
I agree. Yeah.
So we spend a lot of time whether it's nutrition, physical fitness, or whatever, just doing it on our own and maybe not getting the results that we need. Then maybe we do need to take the next step and reach out to a personal trainer.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's sacrifice sometimes. How important is it to you to have that leadership and guidance? It doesn't have to be forever, because I know sometimes when people start and they hear what I charge or whatever, it's not what you have to do forever. It's what you need to do for the time being. And hopefully you are connected with a person who is very serious about teaching you form so that you feel comfortable to eventually move on and do things on your own. And teaching you how to monitor, yourself, how you feel, or when you're ready to change weights and progress or run faster or whatever it is. Put a little money aside, $20, $30 a week for a while. In 6 months, you have enough probably for 2 or 3 months of being with a trainer. So
the other thing you can do, I guess, is right now your rates today are more than what they were when you started.
Absolutely.
So depending on where people are in their process, they may not have the money to invest in a trainer of your expertise, even though they can get value. But they can go someplace. So where would they go if they want to invest in a quality trainer, but they don't have the money to invest in someone who is credentialed and experienced as you are? What are some of the outlets that they can go? Is it to a regular gym and buy their packages, or is there a place to go to look for trainers?
I think probably referral.
That's the best way.
I really do believe that. There are tons of people who look like they're experts online and present a good package or say the right thing or have really cool videos, but they themselves don't really know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there who've had a ton of, and I'm saying that there's not people out there who do, there are, but I don't know how you decipher if you don't have a referral. There's a lot of people putting, content out there that don't really know what they're doing. I mean, I see a lot of very unsafe things on the internet, and what you're doing should benefit you. It should be functional and it should be safe.
Okay. And I guess with 25 years of experience, you've seen a lot. You've seen a lot. I can just imagine.
Yeah.
And so, interesting. I'm kind of concerned here. I'm thinking about how I can use your services.
Well, you're a financial planner,
right? Well, no,
so
I was.
should have.
I was a financial planner. I was a financial planner. Let's back up because I'm not licensed anymore.
But you have the skills. You should have. Remember, those people who have had a financial planner have more money, but it's like you have no excuse.
Did she just call me out? What? Hey, so the Empower. Here's what I do with the Empower series. I put people in front of you that you really need to be in front of me.
There you go. Smart man.
So tell me about, so here's my thought. For the past 2 months, I have been putting in front of my Empower Series community a group of professionals that can help them move the needle in the area of their health. We started the Empower Series really doing a lot of financial literacy workshops. So we started on goal setting and visioning, tax planning, preparing for college. And when you don't have enough money to put into a 529 plan, how do you prepare your students so they can get scholarships? Mm-hmm. Credit management, purchasing a home, entrepreneurship, life insurance, estate planning, things of that nature. But I also realized, like I said before, that these principles can be applied anywhere in your life. So I've had a workshop with the American Heart Association on good cooking, nutrition. Mm-hmm. I've had a workshop with several people coming in who are just motivational speakers who have very inspiring stories of transformation. And then I also have a workshop on physical fitness, being physical and being healthy, because I think that's holistic. So with that being said, I have some people who have the money that can invest in a trainer and a coach. Mm-hmm. And in some cases, I like to connect people with the resources. So in addition to giving people hope so that they can achieve their goals, they can believe it, inspiration to take action, and education to make sure they're taking the right action, I want to connect them with resources. So you are a resource. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to, at some point, let you share with people how to get in touch with you. Mm-hmm. But for people who are not ready yet, so part of my community is low to moderate income. And they are having struggle making their rent. They don't have enough life insurance. They're in debt. They don't have an emergency fund when things come up. Mm-hmm. So even though it's good to allocate some money towards their fitness, given the priority, it may not be time for them to do that, but they can still start doing some things to be healthy. So I want you to speak to these people truly who are not really in the means of investing money, but what would you say as your virtual coach to them? To say, okay, wake up in the morning and start doing these things as the first mm-hmm. baby step mm-hmm. on your journey of being healthier.
Well, first thing I would say, almost every time, if you have someone to even just get outside and, hey, we're going to meet each other at 7 a.m. and we're going to walk 30 minutes, or we're going to walk 20 minutes, or maybe if it's we're going to walk 10 minutes, whatever it is, you just get started. When I take on a new client, I really try my best not to overload them with information or make them feel as though, well, especially they come to me a lot of times, they're fearful. And if someone is hesitant but excited or fearful, and they're now coming into an environment that they're a little uneasy with, I try to just guide them through that process. And when they leave, I always kind of give them homework. And I feel like too, when clients come to me, they're a little bit like babies. Mm-hmm. They're trying to roll over, they're trying to sit up, they're trying to crawl, they're trying to walk. And so it's my goal to help them in that process from, being a baby until they can walk and move on their own. But I always give them 4 or 5 little things to do.
Okay.
I always give them homework. I always say, even though you're coming to see me these 2 days a week, I need you to do this. It could be walk 10 minutes, 15, 20, 30 minutes on their own. And if that means get a partner and you guys meet each other, or a group of people and you meet each other after work, you have a set goal that you're going to do with your cardiovascular fitness if you're coming to me for cardiovascular and weight training. Mm-hmm. Increase your water. Most people do not. And how much of that do you
drink? I drink? Uh-huh. You going to challenge me on?
No, I'm just saying.
I'll just say, be real. Not enough. Okay. Not enough.
So here's what I'm saying. So a lot of people go, I drink 2 or 3 of these a day.
Nah.
But a general rule is that you drink half your body weight in ounces.
So that's first off, if I'm not measuring it, I can't manage it. So when you asked me that, my real defensiveness was, I don't even really know. So if I don't know, I'm not drinking enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha on that.
True. So drink more water. We've got to do some basic things like cut the salt and the sugar.
Yeah, I got you on that.
Really watch white, anything white.
Okay.
And try to get a really good night's sleep.
Okay, but we want to remove the word try, though. We got to remove that,
Increase your water.
But I hear you on the sleep.
Yeah. Oh, it is so important. And, the busier we get, the more we have going on. You've got these exciting ideas and things you've made your mind up about, like you were talking about, these 4 things you're going to change in 1 year. That brain spins and spins and spins, and I am guilty.
But what about E.T.? E.T., at Eric Thomas, he says, look, you want sleep more than you want success. Have you heard him say that?
No.
Okay,
no.
so he says, some of y'all want to sleep more than you want to be successful.
It's too adequate. I mean, it's too important for your overall health.
So important.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, so my goal, I have goals written down, and one of my goals is to get 7 hours of sleep. Mm-hmm. But, I didn't do that last night.
Mm-hmm. Because?
Not a good reason.
Yeah.
So not a justifiable reason because, because I was inefficient with my time.
Yeah.
Because if I can't go to bed at 10 o'clock and wake up at 5, mm-hmm. because I didn't get enough done, then I have to really question myself to say, did I budget my time wisely to do the most important things?
Well, we're all guilty of that. I'm guilty of that.
Yeah,
sure.
but in reality though, there are times where I will be overwhelmed with everything on my plate, mm-hmm. and then I'll sit back and say, well, am I as busy as Barack Obama?
He's got a lot more help than we do.
But still, but at the end of the day, he has challenges as well, right? He's doing a lot
Absolutely.
with his schedule, and then he has a family with kids. And so I just had to look at myself and say, okay, am I spending my time the way someone who I want to aspire to be like mm-hmm. is spending their time? Mm-hmm. Or can I be a little bit more efficient? Where can I be more efficient with my diet and with my time? That being said, we were going to the simple things. So number one, it sounds like getting a support group, mm-hmm. being around people of like mind,
so that you can do
so you can find somebody to go shopping. Mm-hmm. You can find somebody to go to a happy hour.
Absolutely.
You can do all these different things, but find somebody who can spend time with you, either visioning about your dream or doing something activity-based around walking around the block or something like that.
There you go.
So number one. Number two, you mentioned water.
Water.
Okay, just getting more water, simple thing, and we all need to do better at that. So I'll be accountable. I'll drink more water. Mm-hmm. I'll be reporting back to you on that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then cutting out the bad stuff like sugar mm-hmm. and other little things. Sugar and there was something she said cut out. Oh, the whites.
White.
Starches.
And it doesn't. Don't stress yourself out with. You don't have to be perfect to be better. Mm-hmm. You just need to be mindful. You need to say, okay, I had 2 Cokes this week. If your normal was 5, two Cokes the following week is a start. You know, you don't have to go cold turkey. It doesn't mean that you don't ever get to have what makes you happy, whatever food makes you happy. In fact, I encourage my clients to have one cheat meal, not a whole cheat day, one cheat meal a week, so that you are satisfied. You don't feel like you are depriving yourself. So I would say accountability, people, water, watch the white foods. I like to work off of a calendar and a schedule, and I'm old school. I still write things. I still write my workouts down. I think it's really important.
I used to do that.
Yeah, I used to do that
when I was making my gains, mm-hmm. and then when I stopped. So the other thing, so the 3 things here, and you were talking about don't stress yourself out. So the way I look at it is, if you follow your schedule 70% of the time, you will see progress. Now you can always strive to do better, but don't stress yourself out if you're not perfect, mm-hmm. because life is like that. Things mm-hmm. happen, mm-hmm. but just if you're on a path 70% of the time, you'll see some progress. Mm-hmm. So you'll be okay. And then the last thing was getting sleep. So I think those are doable things.
Not horrible.
Those are doable things. And if we make a commitment over the next 30 days, and then we recycle that every 30 days, how can we improve on these 4 areas?
That's right.
We will be in a different place 12 months from now.
Right.
Okay, so I'm thinking about something. I'm thinking about coming up with a group, like a, what do you call it, like a 30-day challenge thing.
Hey, we have the Empower Challenge. Let's go.
I know, just to be mindful, right? To be mindful of being healthy, being mobile every day, doing something, drinking our water, mm-hmm. Cutting out some. We know at least one thing we do that's not good. So let's take one thing and lessen that.
Right.
And then go to bed, and when we go to bed, set the alarm 7 hours later. Yeah.
Yes.
Now you should go to bed on a regular time. Because do you get 7 hours of sleep? Now I'm just calling you out.
Well, and I'm just going to be honest. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I don't know if you can truly catch up on the weekends, but I really do my best because I don't train on Fridays, so I do my best to really sleep in a little longer on Fridays. But I have, for so many years, had a schedule where I started at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I may have 3 or 4 hour breaks in the day. So I'm a nap taker sometimes. If the mind needs to shut it down, I shut it down. You really have to listen to your body. Everyone's very different. These basic things will work for everybody, but everybody's very different. Even in, when you're doing really well with your journey through fitness and you plateau, we could be doing the same thing, the same height, the same size, and plateau at the same time. But what changes I make may work for me and not for you. But I am a believer in really listening to your body.
Okay.
So if my body says rest, I rest. If
you listen.
Yeah,
right?
my daughter wanted me to go with something to her the other night, and I really wanted to go and support one of her friends, but my body was like, lay it down.
Shutting it down.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? So one thing I was going to ask you, you talk about getting your rest, and why does that happen to me? Every now and then it's like I was going to go somewhere with this, and then I just was in the moment listening to you. Yeah. But it'll come back. It'll come back. The challenge. Okay, so do you do challenges? Or little gimmicks to get people around a certain theme?
I would say yes and no. It's a hard one because, I see on the internet a lot of, especially on Instagram, you get a lot of 21-day challenges, 30-day challenges. Here by my 4-week plan.
Yeah.
Is it really geared towards helping people reach their goals? I don't know. Will it work for some people? Yes, but will it work for most people? Probably not. And it's not, you need to make some changes that you can do over a lifetime, So yes and no. If it's something like a water challenge or this challenge before we move into this and how you can make changes. I mean, if there's good content information around why you're doing the challenge, I believe in it.
Okay. So I was really thinking about this because have you heard of Earl Nightingale?
I know.
Earl Nightingale, back in the 1950s, came up with a recording because he was a sales professional, and he came up with a recording for his sales team while he was going on the road, and it was called The Strangest Secret. And the strangest secret was, out of 100 people who are, let's say, 25 years old, out of those 100 people who are 25 years old with the idea that they're going to be successful in whatever they do. So let's measure success as financial success. Only 5 of them would make the grade. The 5%. The 1% are going to be very wealthy, but the 5% are going to be wealthy. The rest of them are not going to make it. So the question is, in this land of opportunity, why is that the case? And if you think about doing something 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, for 40 years, if you were doing the piano, you would be an expert.
Right.
If you were working out, right, you would be an expert in it. So why are people not an expert of managing their money or maybe managing their time to achieve their goal, whatever that might be, if they're waking up every day doing that? And so what he comes up with is the strangest secret is that people don't think. You become what you think about. You become what you think about most of the time. And people are not focused on what are their goals and what do they want to become. They spend a lot of time possibly drifting. That was his thought. So he came up at the very end of his talk with a 30-day action plan. The 30-day action plan was, number 1, was to have some goal that you have, a specific goal that you're looking at throughout the day. You wake up, you look at it, it inspires you. You carry it around with you. You make sure that it's in your radar. You go to bed at night and you look at it. Number 2 is you see yourself visually achieving that. And people are naturally negative. Negativity comes into our life all the time. It's on the news, so we can't avoid it. But to expect it, and when that hits us, to really shift our thought and think about our goal or think about something positive. So to have the goal with you and watch it consistently, be positive, and shift negative thoughts to positive. And then he says, most people are successful to the extent of the quality and the quantity of service that they give. So you should always look at how can you give. And he said, if you do these 3 things every day for the next 30 days, and then repeat them every 30 days until your goal is achieved, it will become a habit, and you will move forward and make progress. So I just have a thought, and I'm with you that you can't just say a 21-day challenge or 30-day challenge and your life has changed. But the whole point is we do things habitually all the time, and we work in automatic pilot. and we may not notice it. So I didn't wake up all of a sudden become not as in shape as I was before.
Right.
Habitually, I kept deciding not to do certain things.
Yep.
But if I kept my goal, my focus, and what you do with your clients is you make sure that their goal is in front of them.
That's right.
They come in and they write it down, and they have some sense of accountability. And when they do that, they see the result of their health. They will see the result of their finances. They'll see the result of you being successful as a businesswoman, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm going to act on this.
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty soon you're going to hear about the Empower Series 30-day challenge. Right?
I like it.
It's being birthed here.
I want to help you out with it. I like it.
It's being birthed here.
I like it. But and now too, speaking back to my clients, you asked me about. So I'm not opposed to. Like, say, for instance, I have a young female client that has been with me for probably, she and her husband have been with me probably 12 years. She came to me after her second child, lost a lot of weight, and then weight started creeping back up. And she's not as focused on, I mean, she rarely missed a workout, but she wasn't as focused on eating intentionally and things like that. And she finally made the effort. We got her an app on her phone to journal, and she lost a lot of weight. Well, she's kind of been at that same weight for a while. Good in that she's been able to lose the weight and maintain it for quite a while, just coming to me 2 days a week. But so I also weigh and measure all of my clients once a month. That's another way to keep them accountable.
Okay.
So I might say to her, okay, let's do one thing. Let's agree, you and I agree on one thing that you can do. So by the next weigh and measure, we have some progress.
Okay.
So if you want to call that a 30-day challenge, yes, I'm all about
We'll make that the focus, right?
Well, I'm just, you know what I
Whatever
mean?
it
It's
is.
like, yeah, I'm a big believer in small goals and large goals, and she's achieved both, but now that she's plateaued, it's not that she's unhappy, but it's time to make some change. So I am all for challenges and changes if there's maybe some baseline testing, some goals, and then some reassessment.
All right, so let's talk
After
about,
that.
do you meditate?
I pray.
Okay, that's a form of meditation. So you do meditate. So it sounds like, so the other part, going back to this challenge, so we have Earl Nightingale and his 3 things. So our 3 things with the Empower series is going to be part of mind, body, and soul. So mind is going to be meditation or pray, whatever that might be for that person. Body is going to be some type of physical activity on a regular basis and daily. And then you mentioned for your clients journaling. So journaling, I think, is very important to connect this and
Very
find
much
meaning
so.
because so much happens when you take your ideas and your thoughts in the process of putting it on paper and you're able to think through it and have some insight. And so those are the 3 things that the Empower Series is going to add to this challenge. So it's going to be the Earl Nightingale 3 things, Empower Series 3 things, meditation, workout, and journaling.
And
you do that for the next 30
we need
days.
to clarify for all of my golf player friends that golf is not exercise. Golf is an activity and not exercise. You know, because I have to teach my clients, you know, some of them go, oh, well, I ran after my grandchildren. I go, well, that's great. It's better than sitting on the couch, but that's not quite exercise. So let's just clarify to all my golfers.
Yeah, you are the expert in this, right? What qualifies for the physical activity? And things I think are easy to do, whether you have a gym or not. You can wake up stretching, sit-ups. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to go to a yoga class tonight. Do you do yoga?
I do. I love yoga. What type of yoga do you like?
Bikram. I do the hot yoga on. Is that not good for you?
Hey, you do what keeps you in line. I love yoga. I'm not really into the competitive.
Kind?
Yeah, well, no, I'm a sweater anyway.
Okay.
I sweat every day. No, I like a vinyasa flow. A slow. Okay. I wanna move through my chaturanga at a nice pace, and I want to hold some of my stretches.
So I do that when I'm at home, right? Okay. I do that when I'm at home, but when I can make it to the studio, which is off of, it's pure yoga.
Okay.
Up on
I'm gonna go take a class with you.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I can bring a guest every month.
Oh.
So one of these days we'll schedule and we'll make it work out. And you can sweat. It's like they call it what is it?
I've been to Bikram. I know what it is.
It's an S&G class. They call it Sweat and Glow.
Oh wow.
We'll see about that, right? But seriously, I'm thinking. Well, I'm not thinking. So the path that you have says ideas in action.
Okay.
So we just had an idea. I talked about this when I did a workshop in Houston, and so this is our weekend today. We have Wendy Ida talking about mind, body, and soul. So after our Saturday workshop, I'm going to make the big announcement, and we'll give people a leeway. We're going to start on Monday. And every day we'll be putting something motivational out there.
Okay, nice.
Okay.
I like it.
So cool.
I'll retweet and I'll post to my stories, and I'll keep people accountable as well.
Okay, so when people look at you, they think, man, perfection. So you have,
Nowhere near.
Well, I know. I'm just telling what people think. And just like with anything else, people see the product of success, but they don't see the process. And so I always give people an opportunity to be kind of keeping it real. So when they look at you, they think that you're perfect. You look beautiful. You're in good shape. You are a single parent. You have a great relationship with your daughter. You have the success in every area of your life. So how transparent are you when it comes to really helping people achieve their goals and letting them know that you just didn't wake up this way?
Oh, I try to be as transparent with everything as I possibly can. I mean, I think to be happy, you have to really live in your truth. And so, yeah, I try to be as transparent as I possibly can all the time.
Okay.
I try.
So if someone's looking at you and they're thinking, oh, you're perfect, what really inspires people is not your perfection. What I believe inspires people is to say, because when I have people speak at the Empower series, I tell people to share a story how they've had to overcome some sense of adversity to achieve their goal. And then that connects people with each other, and then share an empowering or financial literacy message. So what is a challenge that you've had to overcome that you haven't shared with us so far that you feel can resonate with a lot of people, or that you want people to at least know about you? So I'm not asking you to open up the whole book,
right?
But give us a peak version.
Wow. A time of adversity. Well, I think as a single parent, you're kind of in and out of them financially. Definitely, I've had any business owner, I think, could speak to the financial highs and lows of being an entrepreneur and having your own business. There's blessings, and there's, what you pay for insurance, and
I got
what you
$20.
pay in
I got
taxes.
$20 in my bank account right now. I really need this client to come through for me. Right?
Yeah, so I definitely have gone through financial ups and downs. Maybe, let's see. I mean, I don't know. I think as a single parent, they come and go. I'm trying to really think of one specific thing of adversity. I mean, maybe in looking for spaces to be in before, I've felt some discrimination. Like I said, when I opened my first studio, it wasn't just because I had, had this whole business plan and gone to the bank and, done all this wonderful stuff. I was really fed up with how I was being treated at some of the places that I'd worked at.
Yeah.
So I guess you could call that adversity. And instead of allowing myself to be a victim to it, it made me tough enough to get up and go do my own. That's a good question. Is that good enough? Am I sounding like I'm being transparent or no?
Look, I'm just being quiet. See how much you're going to put out there. So have you written your book yet?
You know what? I have been writing. I have an outline that I have been working on since 2010 when my daughter went off to college. And my dad and my daughter cheered at University of Texas at Austin. Okay. And so we went to a lot of games, and while my dad and I went back and forth to see her cheer, I would type an outline on my iPad while we were in the car. So I've been working on that for quite a while.
Okay. So not to tell us really the inside scoop of the book, but there was a ghostwriter that told me, here's her story. She helps a lot of people write books. And not everybody is skilled at writing books. So she is able to really connect with someone, understand their story, and then help them put their words on paper in their voice, not her voice. But she does this, and she says the reason why she also goes to the homeless shelter, and she spends time helping them write their story because she feels like it's very important.
I love that.
Her father committed suicide. And she was thinking that at the time where her father committed suicide, there could have been a word shared with him that would have prevented him from doing that, whether it was a written word or somebody being there. So she feels that there's power in words, and words can save lives. So when she writes books, and she feels like people may have a story, and she's about helping them put their story on paper, because she believes that once that book is out there, or if people want to write a book, what's your purpose for writing a book? And if it's not to save a life, then what's the purpose of just having some more pages out there with ink on them? Mm-hmm. So I say that as a setup for this next question for you. So how do you see your book saving lives?
Well, the people that I have talked with over the years, some of them that have already written books, and some in the process, or those who help people write books as well, that is something that they really drove home with me. Me putting down an outline was really a lot more about health and fitness, but they said, you have to tell your story. And so for me in that, my story is, who would I be if I had not become a single mother at 18? I might have gone a total different path. Who knows where I might be, or if I would even still be here.
Yeah.
But so my message would be, maybe to some young girl who is now, with child, you can do it. You can make it. And I was blessed to have the support of my family, it's sometimes not, and did not have the support of my daughter's other side of the family. So it's going to be tough. It's tougher, but you can do it. And I believe, with your children, being the example. And I also am a huge believer in giving back. In those times, throughout my life when I have been down, there's times I've had $40 in my pocket and spent $15 on someone I saw who didn't have shoes, or bought someone lunch, even if it made me late to go somewhere, or trying to donate to this one, it's not a charity, but one association called Hope Farm. I love to give. The whole program is set up for young boys from that come out of single parent homes. And I like to give my things and donate. And we're actually later into the fall, I'm going to do a little seminar with the mothers there. So I give back because I know that my story could have been so much worse. So I guess my word would be, and I'm a believer in God always, and thank God I am. And because no amount of money is going to save you if you don't have faith in something. And so that's where I've always been fortunate enough to go. Really blessed to have my relationship with God.
Well, here's what I'm feeling about your book, right, that you just have an outline for. Not only, so the obvious, which is the tip of the iceberg, you putting content out there that will give people a resource for how they can be healthier in their life. It's like that person who doesn't have money, but they can go buy a book, or they can go to the library. So you're going to be another resource that someone can pull on that can save a life. That's the tip of the iceberg. But here's where I believe there's a rippling effect of a life being saved by you writing a book and sharing personal stories, keeping the names confidential of your clients. And because people who are not working with a personal trainer, they have a perception about what that's like, which is not the same.
Which is where some of the fear comes from.
Which is not true, right?
Yeah.
And so you have a book with stories of the people that you've helped. And you just are very transparent about how their expectations before they came, what their goals were, their experience on that journey, the ups and downs, and how they've reached their success, and they're continuing to do that. And you have all these different, you probably have thousands of clients. There's stories in there that can save lives. So I think that's the part that's underneath the surface that you will probably never know. But those are kind of stories that will continue to save lives long after you're gone. So I encourage you.
Chapter
to
11.
There you go.
It's dedicated to you, Clifton.
That got your
There's
name on it, right? So how do people get in touch with you?
Well, on Instagram, I am Leiann Davis Fitness, and that's LEIANNDAVIS Fitness. My same thing on Facebook as well. You could DM me or inbox me or direct message me. And I check that stuff pretty frequently, especially Instagram. I'm on Instagram more than Facebook. But Yeah, you can reach me there or email me at Leiann@zonefitstudio.com.
Okay, cool. Now, do you put content out there on a regular basis too, like video, YouTube, or points? Or what do you do with your social media?
Well, I actually am working on.
Okay, you're
So
going to be
that's
working
part
on?
two.
Okay.
So we're going to talk more about
was
all
I supposed
of
to ask
that.
you that question?
No, that's
Okay.
okay. That's
Okay.
okay. We can give them a little teaser. I
it's
am
coming.
working on quite a bit of stuff, and yeah, I will have some what I feel like are exciting things to talk about when I'm back on the 30th, which I can't wait for
He's
that.
just calling out, right? You're speaking that into existence. Okay, I got you on that. I got you.
But one exciting thing I would like to talk about is the relaunch of my radio show.
Okay.
And I will tell you that, that'll be probably around the mid part of September. I'm relaunching. And that is somewhere in, an opportunity that I took that I had no idea would really resonate with people. And I was really shocked. In the beginning of the interview, we were talking about, how I impact people. And I had been asked probably maybe 4 or 5 years ago to consider doing my own radio show, and at that time I didn't feel like it was the time. Excuse me. And then fast forward to maybe 2 years ago, I had a young man reach out to me from dfwiradio.com and said, have you ever thought about doing radio? And I said, yes and no. And he said, come up here and I'd love for you to come look at it, check out the studio and everything. And I said yes, and then I kind of put it off, and he hit me back and said, hey, I thought you were going to come. And I said, yeah, okay. So I came, and I, sat and watched other people do it, and I thought, well, I can do that. Yeah, and you know what? I can do it and try, and if it doesn't work, then I just do something else, or I don't do it anymore. Okay. And so anyway, I ended up with my my own radio show called The Lifestyle Zone. And I did that for probably about 7 or 8 months. And there came my time where I needed to kind of step away to make some decisions. And so I stopped the radio show for a while. But I have had so many people come up to me since then and ask me when I was going to restart the radio. And I just thought, man, people still, even a year later, people still ask me about that. So I'm really excited about, who I touch. And this is beautiful that you have such a wonderful setup here and it'll be on YouTube, but I was initially just doing my stuff on Facebook Live, and you're getting all this immediate interaction and these questions, and you see where your demographics, it's wonderful. Yeah. It's wonderful. So, I'm really excited about that.
I'm just putting stuff out there, but you with your radio show, you have a community, and you gave them a taste, and then you took it away. Gosh, how are you going to be?
Well, when anything I do, I want to make sure I'm coming 100%,
right? That
I'm focused, that you're bringing good content, good guests. And so I was feeling at that time I really had some serious decisions to make, and I couldn't give the radio show 100%. So I needed to step away from that. But now I'm ready.
So there are no accidents.
None.
And so one of the things, going back to the people that you touch and you helping people, I think it was last Friday I had my brother on, and my brother is very influential when it comes to what I'm doing today with the Empower series. And so one of his stories, he was homeless from 88 to 94, but he transformed his life. And if you want to see it, watch the video.
Right.
But I asked him, I said, so what's your advice to people? And I'm teeing this up because I'm going to ask you the same thing. But I asked him, so what is his closing advice to people who are going through his journey? And he just said, man, just never give up hope. And he said, never give up hope, because when you think about what Job went through in the Bible, and you thought about during his tribulations, he always praised God. But then when you even look deeper at it, God kind of allowed that to happen because he knew that Job was a faithful servant. And so he says, whatever you're going through, realize that God knows that you can go through it.
That's right.
So never give up. Just don't give up. Right. And so that really meant a lot. And so at the Empower series, we give hope, inspiration, education, and connections to resources. What is your closing comment or one of your closing messages to people who are listening today, who are on this journey, want to start this journey, plateauing on their journey of health and wellness? What is your message to them?
Ooh. Well, first of all, I think maybe just go back to making up your mind, being set that I'm going to make whatever change I need to make to get started. And if you fall off the wagon, don't beat yourself up, because it's going to happen. It happens to me.
Okay.
and reassess why you started in the beginning and figure out how you can continue to move forward, kind of get that energy back. And even if it's not at the level that you started at, get going and do something. Consistency is everything. We're all gonna fall off the wagon. My birthday's in May and I start May 1, you know. Okay. so I allow myself that
the
month.
whole month, right? The whole month. Hey, when's your birthday in May?
May 21st. Are you my birthday Twinkie?
No, my brother.
Oh wow.
You're a Gemini.
You know it.
My brother's birthday is May 21st. That's crazy.
Very special people born on the 21st.
Wow, so you one of those. Okay, gotcha. But that's good. So make the decision. Make the decision.
Set a goal.
Don't beat yourself up.
Right.
Life happens.
Small goals, big goals. Stay consistent.
The 4 things: water, no sugar, no starch, get your sleep, and some form of exercise. And
journaling.
Water,
yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, we'll come back with the challenge.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how do they reach you again, real quick?
Leiann Davis Fitness on Instagram, Leiann Davis on Facebook, or I can be emailed at Leiann. I keep saying Leiann at zonefitstudio.com.
Okay. Well, Leiann, thank you very much.
Thank you. This is awesome.
You guys stay in tune. I want to thank our sponsors again, Comerica Bank. Thank you. AE Media Group, thank you for your generous donations. If you want to give, go to our website, www.empowerseries.com, or text give or donate to 214-225-6337. We're going to be at the Highland Hills Library tomorrow, 10:30. Check us out. Go to our YouTube channel if you're watching us. Subscribe. Peace. Talk to you soon.